Okay. Hi guys. It's Tiffany. And this is probably today, I think, has been the longest that I have been fronting in a really long time, it seems like. I did help a lot with the editing of Natalie's video, and because of that, I'm going to try and speak a little bit louder because I know that I need a new mic for this camera, and I had to basically subtitle Natalie's entire video. If you didn't see that, I'm going to put a link for it at the end of this video, unless I can figure out how to do it like now. But if I do, it'll be somewhere up in this general area. If not, it'll be at the end of the video. So I feel like I'm a total mess lately, and I worked really hard to like be presentable for this video, especially because I know my video earlier in the car, I was a complete disaster. So I don't look like a troll 100% of the time, but it felt like that was important, and I wanted to be authentic and do that video kind of while that stuff was all fresh on my mind. So I'll leave a link for that video also if you haven't seen that video. Is about a hate comment that we received on Jane's Meet the Altars video, yeah, so if you haven't seen that, I'll leave the link to that one. You can check that video out also. But tonight's video, I want to talk about something that's really important, and I am by no means a mental health professional. If you have or think that you have dissociative identity disorder, you should absolutely seek a mental health professional to give you guidance and therapy to help you and your system work together in the best possible way. I spoke with a system I'm not going to name because I'm not sure if they want to be linked to this video in that way, but I had spoke with someone else that I know who I'm close to that has DID, and she and her system were really struggling, and so I just kind of gave her our list of system rules that we have that have allowed us to function a little bit more successfully and sort of fluidly on a daily basis. And so that's what I want to share with you guys tonight, is we're going to talk about our system rules, and one of those rules is pertaining to like our romantic relationships, and so we're going to delve just a little bit into kind of where we stand on that. Okay, so my journal, constantly full of crap, but it's very important. Our system rules. Number one, most important, I think, personally, is do not deliberately cause harm to the body or the system. This means actual self-harm. This means reckless behavior. This means destroying relationships that are not toxic. Hurting other people to push them away from the system. I know that a lot of systems have persecutor alters, and at one point my protector alter and co-host Alex probably could have been considered persecutor alter, because she definitely did that a lot. She just pushed everyone away because that was the way that she thought was best to protect our system. But now we know that we can set healthy boundaries, and we can recognize when a relationship really is toxic and cut that relationship off and give healthy relationships a chance. So not deliberately causing the system harm in any way, physical, mental, emotional. That is big rule number one. Rule number two, no body or life changes, no major body or life changes without the consent of the majority of system members. So our hair, if you watched our other videos, you will notice that it went from brown to red, and I mean, it's not like bright red, but it is red, and we all chose this color together as a group, and we all are completely in love with it. And I recognize that as a system how rare that is because, you know, we even have, you know, we have a male alter in the system also. Now he doesn't front almost ever, but you know, still, like, there are definitely systems that are not okay with changing the appearance in some way or another because they're just not comfortable with that. So we were lucky enough that the whole system agreed on this hair change, and we're all very happy with it. But, you know, and we have a tattoo that we got, when was it, like 3 or 4 months ago? And that, again, that was something that we all chose, you know, as a system. Obviously, the littles were not involved in that decision, nor were they involved in being near the front whenever that was happening. But, like, you know, all of the adult alters that were present at the time, which was pretty much just me and Alex, because at the time we didn't really know about Nate. And Kat was just sort of, she's mostly an insider now, and she kind of comes and goes. Sometimes we don't see her for a long time. So she wasn't around for that decision. So me and Alex made the decision that we really wanted to get this tattoo, and we had thought really long and hard about it for several years before we finally did this, and we were really excited about it. It's a dragonfly, and we love it very much. Okay, let's see. Alright, so this one is both for safety reasons and for the sheer fact that it is so rude when this happens. Okay, so do not force yourself to the front when someone has asked for or been given time out deliberately, unless you are needed in an emergency. So obviously, if me or anyone else pretty much is fronting and there's a trigger situation or a very likely trigger situation, Alex is going to switch out. It's just going to happen. And we as a system accept and appreciate that she is able to do that for us. But this is this is by no means a perfect system, okay? So it happens. It does happen. I wish that it happened a little less often than it does, but it is one of our rules that we are really working on. And you know, we cut each other some slack. Obviously, you know, if you're at a store and your littles see, you know, a toy or a stuffed animal and they get really excited, they don't really mean to force their way out. You know, that's just kind of an innocent, positive trigger. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when I'm doing a video, for example, and I have others who want to come forward and do it instead. And I've seen it happen in other people's videos, and I know how frustrating that is. To me, that just, it drives me crazy. It's hard enough to do a video when you have everybody in your head like trying to tell you what to say from the inside, but when they try and take over in front just so that they can do the video how they want, it's just, to me, it's incredibly disrespectful. So we really try not to do that. So that is, that's one of our rules. Okay. So I'm going to touch on this one, and then we're going to get on the one that has to do with the relationship things, because that's going to turn into kind of a tangent topic. This is, in my opinion, it's probably tied with the don't harm. Well, I mean, they tie in together, but this is probably the most important rule for our system. And I mean, I can't really speak for other systems, but I would say probably for every system. And this is something I think that you have to come to kind of quickly if you are going to be functional. And that is system responsibility. So this pertains to everything from, you know, accepting that your actions affect the entire system as a whole. You know, so like, so if, you know, Natalie went out and like stole a tube of lipstick, she would never do this, but creating a scenario here. Natalie went out, stole a tube of lipstick from a beauty store, and she got caught. We can't say, I have DID, it was my 13-year-old daughter, it wasn't me, you know, like, just let me go. Doesn't work that way. So, you know, we have to accept that our actions affect the entire system as a whole. So it also pertains to taking medications as they're prescribed. So we have DID, but we also have, or at least I have, bipolar disorder. Now, when I say I have, there has been a lot of research actually into the fact that different alters can have different brain chemistry, essentially. And due to this, I have bipolar disorder. I don't really know if it affects the others in the system because, you know, we've been medicated now for a little while, and it wasn't until we got on medication that I really started to have better communication with my, you know, with my pedmates and everything, and we, sorry, dissociating. Can't get through one video. Okay. So, yeah, I was having a really hard time, before I got on the medication, and because I was having a really hard time, it's sort of difficult for me to say if the other system members also have bipolar disorder. But I have bipolar disorder, and because of this, we take medication every day, and it took several years to finally get on a combination of medications that work well for us, but I just want to say it was absolutely worth it. You know, there are people out there who struggle with whether or not to take medication for one reason or another, and I can't tell you what the best choice for you is, but I can tell you that this combination of medications completely changed my life, because with bipolar disorder, I know I'm getting into a tangent here, I'm just going to talk about this for just a second. With bipolar disorder, I leaned more towards mania, and people think of mania as just talking really fast and like being super happy, and that's not I wish that was all it was. No, it's impulsive behavior. It is bordering on obsession. When you find something of interest to you, you just can't let it go. Like, it's just everything gets thrown into that one thing. And it was financially ruining my my marriage, which ended anyway, but we're not going to talk about that right now. I'm sure that was probably a factor, to be honest. But, you know, I bought 3 laptops in 3 months because I was convinced, because mania can sort of make you delusional. I was convinced I was going to be a writer, and I just had to find the right laptop, and I would buy one, and somehow, because I couldn't write, it was something wrong with the laptop, so I'd buy another one. So, bringing it back to the main topic here. I have bipolar disorder. It's very important for us, for whoever is fronting at bedtime, to make sure that my medications are taken on time before bed every single day, because it is extremely detrimental, you know, to miss one dose. It just is. So that is super important. Also, right, meeting obligations and the responsibilities the system has agreed to take on. If you are fronting when a host is usually present or cannot front at the present time. Okay, that was a lot. But basically, Alex and I are co-hosts. It seems like she's out a whole lot more than I am recently, but basically, if you know, like, I had to go get my driver's license renewed, and I procrastinate everything. And so, like, the day before it was going to expire, Alex was out and was like, we're doing this today. And so, you know, she got that done. I think I'm probably the worst at this. But, you know, it's really important. You know, if you say that you're going to be there and you're going to do something, that whoever is fronting is going to go through with that and be there and do something, as long as it's not detrimental to the system, that you do that. Because people are not going to take you seriously if you're constantly promising you're gonna go to this thing or do them this favor or whatever, and then someone else fronts and, oh, that's not important right now. Like, because it delegitimizes us, and, you know, the system as a whole. So that's an important rule that we really try to follow, and I probably should try a little bit harder. Okay, and then this is the one that I was planning on going on the tangent on, and that is, we are always as open as we possibly can be with potential romantic partners about our diagnosis. I know that that is not right for everyone, but I'm going to say I, because this is, I think, more about me, really, is, oh, okay, I'm getting no, it's not about you, it's about all of us. Okay, yes, it's about all of us, but this is something that's very important to us, is we don't want to have to hide who we are. This is who we are. And if you can't handle that as a person, if you can't handle knowing that there are littles in here that you're probably going to have to take care of at some point, that, you know, that you are not just going to have a relationship with me. You don't necessarily have to date every alter in the system, but you have to accept that I have a male alter that, you know, sometimes, very rarely, but occasionally fronts, you know, and some guys would be completely freaked out by that. You know, you have to accept that this is just the person that I am, and it's never going to change. You know, like, I know that some systems really work towards integration. And I've said it before, I know, at least in our very first video, is that we don't want to integrate. That just the idea of that Hi guys. So evidently my camera seems to have a setting on it that it stops recording at 20 minutes. I thought that it was kind of strange that it was exactly 20 minutes when I first started editing the video, and then it got to the end and I was still talking, so it cut off probably a good 5 to 8 minutes of what I had said. So I'm gonna try and sum that up really quick. And I'm recording on my phone in my living room, and so I'm sorry if it's a little bit shaky, but you can see my hair better today. So basically what I was saying was our system has chosen not to integrate, and we we talked about that in our very first video, I think. I don't know if we've touched on it since then, but our system doesn't want to integrate. The thought of that is very scary to us, and that's okay. That's our decision as a system. And then oh my goodness, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh right. Okay. So we also talked a little bit about our relationship practices, and so our system practices consensual non-monogamy, and if you don't know what that is, you can look it up, but we have just found that it works best for us, and our current partner Clint might do a video with us soon. Really excited about that, because I'm sure that that there are some pretty interesting perspectives that he can share on dating someone with DID. He's been really great. He's known from the beginning that we have DID, which is one of the reasons why we tell people that we are planning on seeing long term. We tell them, like, we have this disorder, and it's just so that they know what they're getting into. And I mean, I don't know if he really knew what he was getting into, but I felt like I had forewarned him of this is what the expectation is going to be, so that he could make the educated decision whether or not he wanted to put himself in the position to have that responsibility. So hopefully he's going to do that video with us soon. And if you guys have questions for him, we will definitely include those in the video. Just leave them in the comments below. So one other thing that I had forgot was the reason why we practice consensual non-monogamy. So a lot of systems, I think, practice consensual non-monogamy, and the reason that our system does is that I'm not always out. Alex spends a lot of time fronting, more time than me at the present time. Excuse me. And so you're not just getting into a relationship with me, so not only does someone have to be okay with the fact that there are other people in here that you might see more than me, it's just easier to have relationships with multiple people, because different alters are going to have different interests in everything, including in people. Our partner Clint happens to be dating both Alex and I, and he's amazing. He's really great with littles, and he handles all of this just incredibly well. definitely better than we ever could have expected from someone. He's just so compassionate and understanding, and he takes care of us, and he never makes us feel like there's something wrong with us because we have this disorder, or that some of us are less important, or that some of us need to go away. Like, he never makes us feel that way, and that's super, super important. But you know, in the past, we have had issues where I was in a relationship, and I got a little bit more detailed into this in the video on my camera that cut off, but to shorten it up, basically, several years ago, I was in a serious relationship over the course of years, and Alex was just kind of done with that relationship, and so she started a new relationship with someone else that I really didn't know about for a while, and she saw this person for like 3 months, and then eventually our current partner and myself found out that she was cheating, that we were cheating, and yeah, it was a mess. So we just don't try to go the monogamous route anymore because it just doesn't work for us. And that's not to say that, that like we're gonna recklessly go and get and random relationships with people that are not safe for us, but this it just tends to work better for everyone if we come at this from a standpoint of open relationship rather than the expectation that we are going to be able to be faithful to one person 24/7 when there are multiple people in this body who also want to have relationships. Okay, so I think I have pieced this I can't talk. Oh, I feel like I did so much better last night, and I was so frustrated that got erased. And because of that frustration, I have been dissociating a lot, which is why I'm all over the place in this video. But I feel like I've pieced this together the best that I can. I'm sorry that we have the camera issue because last night's recording of this was so much better. But I really hope that you guys enjoy this video. I hope that you really enjoy our content, and if you do, please like and subscribe because it is so super important. And if you have any comments that you would like, questions that you would like Clint to answer in his video with us, please do leave them in the comment section below, and we will make sure we include those questions. Thank you guys so much for watching, and shine with all your colors. Bye!